Hi everyone, so we are dead on the hour now. It is 2 o'clock for some of you, and for myself in England it is 12 o'clock. But we're live, so welcome to the Aurora Student Champion Scheme pre-application briefing. My name's Callum. I'm the Aurora Student President for the Aurora Network and the Alliance, so I help to represent nearly over 350,000 students across the network and the Alliance, and my day-to-day job is at UEA Students Union as the undergraduate education officer, so I represent students in teaching and learning. And thank you for coming along to this session today. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the Student Champion Scheme, because you have all come along to this briefing, or you'll be watching this as a recorded briefing because you have an interest in becoming a student champion. And thank you for taking the time to sign up to this, and we look forward to hopefully receiving more of your application over the coming days. So let's jump to the overview of the session and the next slide. Because we are going to go through several things today with you. We're going to go through an overview of the scheme and talk about what's in it for you, what to expect as a champion, and how to complete and submit your work in applying to the scheme, as well as taking some questions. There's a lot to get in, and I'm not going to ramble too much at you today. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly and talk to you in the next half hour or so about what it means for you being an Aurora Student Champion, and we'll cover the description of the role, some commitments that are required of you, elements of how to get involved with the work in the scheme, how you'll submit your evidence and all the administration. And then after hearing this, if you're ready and you would like to apply, it's fantastic, and we hope that you do. You can let us know by the application process, and we will then be selecting and announcing the student champions over November ahead of a training session which we'll have later on this year. But as I mentioned, we are live, and with all of these things, we have a host of team members behind us to make sure nothing goes wrong. But we are on a slight delay being live, and it is technology, so if anything does go wrong, please do bear with us. And we have got some of our team monitoring the questions on the Q&A, so if you've got any questions for me or for the team, then you can just pop them in the chat, and then we will get around to answering those at the end with our sort of Q&A session. So let's head over to the next slide and talk to you about the overview of the scheme. So the Aurora network, as I said, represents over 340,000 students across Europe, and that's increasing every year, and more internationally as well now, as our Alliance project encompasses more universities such as Minnesota, and it also looks at Copenhagen Business School, and we are expanding all the time, as we've just also recently incorporated Palachi University into our discussions as an associate partner. And our network has its own functioning student board and student council, and we evaluate and monitor the progress on key priorities that are set by Aurora. And the scheme is really about offering you a voluntary position, and it's 10 students from each Aurora partner. And these students are going to be helping the student council and the students that I work with to expand the work that we do and support the network and the Alliance. And you'll be engaging with Aurora University senior management and student body. So many of you will have your president or your rector or your vice chancellor at your universities. You'll be working with those really high up people to help drive forward change and collective ambitions. And this academic year, we want this to be the first year, the inaugural year of the Student Champion Scheme, and it's all being administered by our partners at UEA. So the team that are here with me today will be helping to lead this student-led project, and it'll be overseen by ourselves in the Student Union at UEA, and also by myself in the Aurora Student Council. And there's also going to be some administrative assistance from our team, and they're going to be helping if you have any questions or you've got any assistance that you need throughout the whole period of being an Aurora champion. So if you are really worried about anything, you can always get in contact with us at the email address that is stated on this slide, which is aurora.champions@uea.ac.uk, and you can see the link there again straight to the Champions Scheme on the website if you are interested about looking any further, or you want to remind yourself of anything as we go into this presentation. So now let's look at what's in it for you. So the Aurora Student Champion Scheme is going to enable you to discuss and reflect on the Aurora Network's main goals. And these include things like diversity. So we want to represent a wide range of students from different backgrounds and different experiences. We're passionate about inclusion, which means that we want all students to feel like they belong and ensure that they feel part of their university and an Aurora community, because you are becoming and you are part of this amazing network of different universities. We're all about student engagement, and that would be wrong if we weren't. And so to give students a voice and participate in the activities to support positive change is really, really vital for us. And we really care about international mobility. So we want to enable students to gain an international experience to study abroad as part of their degree. And at the moment, because of COVID, that has changed slightly and there's different challenges to that. But just engaging with other students from different cultures and different perspectives allows you to start thinking about maybe taking a semester abroad or choosing to study abroad when the time comes. And we're also very passionate about sustainability, not just in terms of making sure that our network thrives for a very long period of time in future to come, but we're also passionate about how we can work to save the planet and how we can be more conscious about the way in which we travel, the way in which we teach, the way in which we use resources to make sure that we can ensure the longevity of our world and its environment. So as a student champion, if any of those things are interesting you, you'll be able to promote the ambitions of yourself that you have as a student, but also of the student body. And you'll also be helping to implement greater sustainability within your university and also the Aurora's wider global network. And this is a fantastic opportunity to get involved and talk to other people about the work that you're doing in your university, how you're experiencing things as a student, and any brilliant ideas that you've got as a student to contribute to those areas. So the scheme is all about giving students the opportunity to give something back to your community, and you'll be able to work with other students from different universities, and you'll be able to communicate your ideas around Aurora's themes and reflect on educational issues that might oppose or complement the way that you're learning or the way that other students are learning or how you would like to learn. So you'll be invited to join a closed Facebook group, and you can connect with other student champions and discuss these ideas as well. So it's a massive community and lots of conversations and dialogue, which is going to be really, really positive. And as an Aurora Student Champion, you'll also be developing your employability skills. You'll be given the opportunity to increase the range of transferable skills that you have, and you'll be able to gain evidence to future employers. And at the moment, employability is such a hot topic. Everyone's worried about when they can get jobs, what jobs might look like after COVID-19. So this is a really good way to equip yourself with lots of skills that are going to be really, really desirable for employers when you can go out into the world as a graduate or you're looking for jobs, particularly after COVID-19. And there you will get a certificate and a certified reference at the end once you've completed the scheme to show just how much work and dedication you've put in to the work that you've done. So let's have a look at what you can expect to do as a champion, because the scheme is designed to help you to think creatively, and it's designed to help you share gained knowledge for the benefit of student learning and society. So you'll represent your university and serve as a channel for the Aurora Student Work and Alliance project. And this means that you'll be sitting with lots of different academics and lots of different staff in some working groups and some task groups, and really working on some practical things that you can do to enhance, for example, mental health and well-being, or employability, or sustainability, or international mobility, and really thinking about how students will be affected by the work that the Aurora network is doing. And we ask you to also collate some evidence. So this sounds really tricky and sounds really scary, but it really isn't. So what you've got to do is start thinking about where there's some work that demonstrates learning links to the values and themes of Aurora. So we ask you to submit some academic work to reflect on your learning experience of Aurora, and we ask you to submit 10 hours of that. Now that might be a piece of work, that might be some studying, some revision, but it has to be roughly reflective of 10 hours. And so again, if you've got any questions about that, the team are here to help you if you want to email them to give you an idea of what evidence you could submit. We then also need you to submit some evidence from a project led on engagement in Aurora task teams. So that might be some reflection on how a task is going, what you've done to help promote the task or promote a project. And again, we'd like you to submit 10 hours of evidence for that. and we want you to work with a student from another institution on solutions to an Aurora topic. So there's lots of you watching this briefing, and the opportunity for you to go and make a new friend or make a connection in a different university in a different country is going to be really, really important. So you can understand what other people are thinking and feeling and experiencing in education. And again, we ask you to submit a piece of work from that estimates roughly 10 hours, as well as a reflection on learning in relation to Aurora. So that's really thinking about, before you started this scheme compared to the end of it, what have you learned as a student, and what will you take away from this, and how can you reflect on things you might do differently going forward? And again, roughly 10 hours of work for that. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to give us an email or pop a question in the Q&A whilst we're talking, so we can answer any questions that you might have. But that's kind of the main chunk of what we ask you to do after you've been participating and to earn your title as an Aurora Student Champion. But how will it work in practice? So let's have a look at that. So as we said, we want you to link the areas that interest you, and the champions are going to interact with Aurora staff and students to help drive the change. So we need you to be submitting these hours. And as I said, these elements will consist of academic skills, working groups, personal reflections, and kind of creating a pen pal type relationship with another student from a different university. And you'll need to upload that evidence to a personal OneDrive account. And again, any questions on that, do just let our team know. We'll be able to send you all the information once you're a successful champion about where to upload that. And that will all need to be uploaded by the 30th of June next year. So a long time away for what is 10 hours each, 40 hours in total of some work, which I'm sure you'll find so enjoyable. You won't need to think about how to collate all that hours. You will just be doing it naturally as you are a student. And that's why it's so important that you guys are champions, because you're doing all this work without really realizing it. We want you to evidence it and get some reward and recognition from it. So that's a quick whistle stop tour on everything to do with the scheme, and please do put some Q&A in the chat, but we want to talk to you now a bit about applying to the scheme and what you need to do. So this is the admin bit, and I'm sure that the team will jump in on the Q&A about the admin if there's anything that I've missed, because there's lots and lots to talk through. But we want you to apply. First of all, we hope we haven't put you off, and we really want you to be part of the Aurora Champion Scheme. So you'll need to submit and complete an application form. And reflect on your engagement and how that will benefit you and your university in Aurora, along with a 1-minute video which tells us what which Aurora theme means the most to you. So when we talked about those topics of diversity and inclusion and sustainability, if one of those really stands out to you, we really want to hear about that and really think about how you're going to use that as a driving force to make some change in this network. And the full details are on the application form, which will go live on our website later today. So you haven't missed the application deadline because these all need to be submitted by the 16th of November. So you've got just over 10 days to do that, and that's at 1 o'clock CEST time. So if you've got any questions about that, or if you're in a different time zone, again, pop the questions in the Q&A chat, and then we will make sure that we can answer your questions for you. So we intend to appoint 10 students from each of the 9 Alliance universities, as I said, and where there's more than 10 students, we will ask you to still be involved, but that it might be in a different capacity. So we might give priority to those final year students, or to those with a real interest in the areas where there's gaps in Aurora projects, but we don't want that to put you off. There is a competitive opportunity, but there's still lots of other opportunities to participate in Aurora if you're not successful as a champion and you really want to get involved. So where it's less than 10 students that have applied, we may open the applications again to the interest of that university. And at the moment, I'm happy to say we've got near enough, just over 60 student champions that wanted to come to this briefing today that are interested. And so we're really looking forward to hearing from all of you and all of the ideas that you have. So once we've then gone through all those applications, the Aurora Student Champions are going to be announced during the week commencing the 23rd of November, and all the applicants will be contacted. And it's our intention to provide some of the unsuccessful candidates the opportunity to participate, as I said, in Aurora activity. And we're expanding our student representation representation at the moment, so there's an opportunity for you to be part of some wider work that we're doing. So please don't think that you've been unsuccessful and you won't be able to participate. And then we're going to be holding some training sessions, one on the 30th of November, one on the 2nd of December, and one on the 3rd of December. So we'll be in contact with you about which one of those training sessions you will need to attend, and you can let us know whether or not any of those are unsuitable or which one is preferable for you. So that's how to apply to the scheme. And again, as I say, please do pop questions in the Q&A chat, and I'm sure our team will be able to answer them. But finally, we just wanted to say a massive thank you for listening. And would you want to become one of our Aurora Student Champions? Well, if you've got any questions, do let us answer them in the live chat box. You can also email us with your questions, as I said, at aurora.champions@uea.ac.uk. And queries about applying should be sent before midday on the 13th of November. So remember that cut-off date is on the 16th. If you've got any extra burning questions that you don't want to ask today, make sure you get those in by the 13th of November at midday before we then close the deadline on the 16th of November. So I've been talking for far too long. It's now an opportunity for you to ask any questions, and I believe that some of our admin team are going to be able to shout out some questions for me if there are any. If not, please do stick around on the social media for a moment. We can just wait and see if you've got any questions. If not, do make sure you get in contact with us on that email address for if you have any burning questions or concerns. But we really hope that you are going to apply to be an Aurora Student Champion. It's a fantastic opportunity to learn more about education and really topical issues that are affecting you as students, and give you an opportunity to take some control and some influence in the work that goes on in lots of universities that we all share a common purpose of, which is this Aurora network and Aurora Alliance to make education better. So I believe our admin team are on hand if there are any questions.
Thanks, Callum. Can you hear me, Callum?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Great. I've got lots of students from different universities across the Aurora partners, so that's really brilliant. I can't see any specific questions at the moment, but just let's have a quick look through. There's just a couple of questions about students that had to go to seminars, so we can just confirm where everyone will be able to access the presentation slides and a recording of the presentation slides that will be on the web pages that are shown at the bottom of the slide at the moment.
Yeah. So yes, everything will be available on the website as a briefing afterwards. And if you, like I say, if you have any more questions, do feel free to give us an email, because there's lots of information that we've gone through there, and we'd be more than happy to talk in more depth about it. So yes, absolutely. As soon as our Aurora Central Office team get the information up on the website, you'll be able to see all of the recorded briefing and the application form.
Thanks, Callum. Yeah, so that application form should go live hopefully today. Just bear with our colleagues in the central office if that link doesn't go live until a bit later.
Perfect. I think we might have one question apparently in the Q&A chat, so I wonder if we just check that and quickly have a little look.
Yeah, will do. Tara, will you just read out the question for us, please?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah,
brilliant. Okay. This question is from Iman. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. So it's in the 1 minute video, can we talk about two topics applying for two different fields?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I think what we want to get in a 1 minute, and 1 minute is not very long at all, is a sense of where you think there's some real interest from you as a student in Aurora. And that could mean you talk about one or two. But what I would say is make sure that you really talk in depth as much as possible about what that topic means to you and what you would be really interested in doing. So I would say, yeah, one or two topics is best, because you don't want to lose time just describing what topics you'd like. We really want to get a sense from you as a student about what you'd like to develop and help, and where your passion lies in some of the topics for Aurora. But absolutely, if you've got two, it would be great to open those out in your 1 minute discussion.
Thanks, Callum. And there was another question similarly, what are we really expecting for in terms of shortlisting for the video? So perhaps you can just expand on that a bit more, just to really confirm for a couple of other people that are just checking about the application form. So it will be on our web pages. The link, we'll make sure it's in this lower down in this chat. One of the team will just put that on there. So at the moment, the link is to register for the briefing, but shortly after this presentation, that link will change from registering to attend this briefing session to registering to apply to the scheme. So if you pop that perhaps later this afternoon, or at the latest, the earliest next week, you'll see that the application form is there. Thank you. Callum, a bit more about the video would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two parts, obviously, as we said, to the to applying to the scheme. First of all, the application form, and we really want you to think about what you could bring to the Aurora Student Network, and what your input will help benefit your university in Aurora from. So this is one of those times where if you need to really big yourself up, really promote yourself and talk about how amazing you are, this is the time to do it. We really want to know about what skills you have and what ideas you have around some of the topics that you're really interested in, and how that would benefit your university. So say, for example, you were really interested in sustainability and the Sustainable Development Goals. We really want to hear from you about what ideas you'd have to maybe tackle a particular Sustainable Development Goal and how that might really impact Aurora universities and your own university, or your peers and your friends back at your institution, and students alike. And so that's really what we want to see from your application, reflecting on your skills and how you think you're going to engage with the network and what you could bring and what ideas you've got. And then in that 1 minute video, we really want you to talk about an Aurora theme that means the most to you. So again, it could be sustainability, it could be inclusivity, it could be diversity, it could be things like teaching and learning, it could be international mobility, something that you're really, really passionate about. Or maybe it's something that Aurora doesn't always consider. Maybe there's something else that we're missing that you're really passionate about, that's linked to a particular topic. Maybe we're not focusing on the right thing in diversity, or maybe you've got a really good idea about what diversity means to you as a student and how you feel that you can, what you feel you can contribute to the alliance and the network. So it's really about telling us what means the most to you, and what parts of Aurora really stand out to you, and what skills you think you have as a student to help us make student input and student impact across some of the topics in Aurora really, really valuable. I hope that answers the question.
Brilliant, thank you, Callum. Do you mind just clarifying? I'll just go through a couple of questions and I'll sort of merge some things. So I think, could you highlight for everybody again what we'll be doing as a champion participating in the scheme?
Yes,
absolutely. So you might want to bring that slide up again. And then can we also just clarify what's required for the application process? So we're not asking for a motivational letter per se, but there's a section in the application form about that statement. Thank you, and then I'll come back to some other questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you can expect as the champion, as we talked about, is really helping us to think creatively and to represent your university and students on the student council, and also on the projects that we've got going in Aurora. So if you're a successful student champion, we'll give you a range of different project groups that you could be part of that tackle lots of the different topics we've discussed. And then also we've talked about this submitting of hours of evidence in different areas. So it's going to be 10 hours of academic work. So it might be an essay or a presentation or a particular piece of work you've been doing that links to the values of Aurora, the topics of Aurora. And then we'll also ask you to evidence a project that you've been working on in Aurora. So the groups that you'll be sitting on and attending, we ask you to submit some evidence of that, as well as a personal reflection about what you're doing and how you're learning. And then we also want you to communicate with somebody else from a different university about your experiences and share the differences and similarities. And we want you to roughly evidence 10 hours. And I would say don't get too worried about the 10 hours. That's what we would like you to see, just so we make sure that you've done some really good work over a long period of time. But don't worry too much about the 10 hours. It's just being able to evidence those kind of skills, the academic skills, working in groups to represent students, and personally reflecting on your skills with other people and yourself, that really link and how they link to the values of Aurora. And that's all got to be submitted next year on the 30th of June. So you've got plenty of time and the team will support you. In terms of applying to the scheme, As we've said, there's an application which, as Alex, one of our team members, just said, a part of that application is about talking about how your skills will benefit the Aurora network and your university and the work that we do, as well as that 1-minute video that I've been talking about, which really focuses on the real positive attributes that you really like about Aurora, the core topics that you really like, that you want to get your teeth into as an Aurora Student Champion. And all of that's got to be submitted by the 16th of November at 1 o'clock CEST time. And if you've got any questions, you can just let us know, and we'll then be in contact if you're successful towards the end of November to arrange training and welcome you to the community.
Thanks, Callum. Next question that I think we'll just cover. So Christina actually graduates in January, so wants to know if she can still be part of the scheme, but also then still be a part in the work of Aurora. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But if you could just clarify, so we know that the submission of work needs to be completed by the 30th of June, but you could complete it all by the end of this calendar year if you wanted, couldn't you? Do you mind touching on that, Callum?
Yeah, of course I can. So yeah, as Alex has just mentioned, first of all, very good point that was raised about if you're just about to graduate from university, are you still going to be able to engage in Aurora? Absolutely. You come from one of the partner universities of Aurora, and if you start doing your Champions scheme work and you're finishing at a point which is not kind of all rounded off in a year, there's no reason why you can't continue to work with us as a champion, or indeed just work as part of Aurora and help us influence the work that's going on. So please don't feel that there's not an opportunity for you there. But yes, as we said, you could submit all of your hours evidence in the next month or so. If you're doing a particular topic or an essay at the moment that links to your academic work, it might be that you can submit all that evidence now. But what we're really looking for is for you to be reflective. So what I would say is, please do, if you've got evidence, submit it, you know, as soon as you become a champion, but also really think about what you're learning, what you're understanding, and don't be worried about submitting it later. You know, it's not a race, it's not a competition. We just want you to develop and go on a journey of learning about what Aurora is and learning what it can do for you and talking to other students about that. So make sure you take some time to reflect. But absolutely, if you've got the work and you've got the evidence, there's no reason why you can't submit it all in one go. It's not it doesn't have to be submitted in stages as we go along. You can submit it whenever you like before the deadline. There's no set goals to do that.
Excellent, thanks, Callum. In terms of the pen pal activity, and of course the work groups, let's say somebody might want to link with another student from a specific university or lend their skills to a specific work plan. How are you thinking of allocating our champions to other students and other work groups?
Absolutely. So we've got lots of student work groups. We've got lots of task teams because we've had a very successful Alliance project bid, which has given us lots of money to do lots of amazing things that have students right at the heart of that and impact students. So we have over 40 or 50 task teams. So there's something for everybody. And what we want to do is make sure we have student representation on some of the really key areas. So we're not going to ask one student to go on their own on one task team if they don't feel comfortable to do so. We want to at least partner you up so that you've got somebody else to talk to reflect on the work, because you're going to be doing that pen pal activity, but also to interact with the rest of our student council. We've got 15 students that are really eager to meet you all and really want to do stuff with you, and will want to have conversations with you, and we want them to support you in some of those areas. So the allocation is very much up to which champions we have. We want to hear from you about where your interest lies, and we'll try and put you where we think you've got really good interest and really good skills to contribute. And we'll never put you on your own. We'll partner you up so you've got somebody to support you. But there's lots and lots of opportunities to get involved in each of the groups, and like I say, there's lots of them. So we will make sure that you've always got someone that you know in your group with you, and we will make sure that we put you where we think your skills that you've talked about, the excitement that you have, the passion you have for some of the Aurora themes are. So you're not going to be put somewhere where there's nothing relevant for you to contribute to. We want to put you where we think you're going to be best placed to provide good feedback, if that makes sense. So it's still very open, but once we've got our student champions, we'll place them together in places where we know they've got some really good insights to impress all of our academics and staff across the work packages.
Thanks, Callum. Do you mind just clarifying the application timeline, but in particular when applicants will find out if they've been successful, and perhaps what we'll do about that process? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, the submission closes on the 16th of November, Monday the 16th of November. And we did also mention that if you've got any burning questions that you want to ask us, make sure you get those in on the 13th of November by midday, because we want to make sure you've got enough time to finish your applications and get them in. And once that's happened, we're going to have to go through a bit of a selection process, because we know we've got lots of universities where there's more than 10 students that are really interested. Now, that doesn't mean to say that those students that aren't successful won't get an opportunity to be part of Aurora. In fact, we'd really like to work with those students to create something extra special on top of the champion scheme, to make sure that you guys are all still involved, because we know that your input is very, very valuable. But where there are students that exceed the 10 maximum on each of the universities, we might prioritise those that are final year students or that have a particular interest which comes across really strong. That's why that 1-minute video is so important, to talk about the Alliance project and to help with that. And you might be asked to attend an interview if we really can't decide, or we need some more information from you. So do just make sure you keep an eye on your emails, and that you know what you know who to contact on that really important email address, which we'll put up at the end again. And where there's less than 10 students, we might ask the application process to be opened again, or ask you as our new student champions to help us recruit the new set of students. So that might be an opportunity for you there. But we're hoping to announce all of the student champions on the 23rd of November, and all the applicants are going to be contacted about that. And we will then provide the unsuccessful applicants with some of those further opportunities to be involved in the Aurora network activity. And then we're going to be providing some training sessions. So again, once you are a successful candidate, there'll be an opportunity to go on the 30th of November, the 2nd of December, or the 3rd of December. And again, we'll make sure that all that information is available to you as a successful candidate, if you are successful, when we have done all the application process and sorted it out. And one of my team has just highlighted, we should remind you that we are in Central European time, not Central European summertime. So because of our clocks changed in the autumn, it's Central European time. But if you are confused about the time zones, do just get in contact with us about that, and we can clarify that. I'm aware that for some people it's 2 o'clock somewhere in the world. For me, it's 12:30, and I'm not always very clued up on the time zone. So just make sure that it is just make sure you've got that clarified, so that you know what all the timings are, and that make sure they're correct. Does that answer the questions?
Thanks, Callum. I have just seen a couple of other questions. Let me just have a quick look. So thanks very much from Julio. And if we use an essay as evidence of the 10-hour student work,
yeah.
What about how precisely the theme of an essay has to link to an Aurora topic?
Yeah, so, and that's a really good question, because some of you may be studying something which is very different from Aurora. But for example, you're all going through teaching and learning, you're all experiencing that. So you might have a particular essay that's linked to education. You might have a particular essay that's linked to diversity or inclusion. And it doesn't have to be the core topic of the essay, but it has to at some point throughout your essay address a particular perspective. And that's really important for being in academia and being a student, because you're always asked to think about different perspectives and present different arguments. So I would say that it's important going forward to think about what pieces of work you're doing and where you might be able to integrate some of Aurora's themes or topics into it, or notice where there are some topics and where you can maybe evidence those. But again, if you've got any issues about that or any concerns, just let our team know, or alternatively, get your lecturer involved in the conversation and say, like, I'm doing this piece of work for Aurora. How do you think I could interweave my topic into my essay? Ultimately, your education is the top priority, and we don't want you to be changing your academic work to the point where you don't get the marks that you deserve because you're trying to fulfill the brief of Aurora. What we're looking for is a flavour of a particular topic in an assessment or a piece of project work that you're doing, and that has to be academic work. But I must have to say that it doesn't have to be necessarily the module you're doing. You might be doing some extra academic work. You know, you might be engaging in an extra module, or you might be doing something in a society or a group, a student-led group that has a particular academic focus. So you can use that as well. But if you are worried, you just get in contact with us and we can give you some opportunities and some options of where you might be able to link a topic to Aurora in your academic work. Hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Callum. I'm just taking a look through for any latest comments. Yeah, so just another clarification on the summertime. So that's good that we've clarified that. And also just a question with regards to ECTs on the web pages. We will get that updated. The scheme does not carry credit. The intention is that the work that you do as part of the scheme will, of course, enhance your academic studies. It might be in the future that the scheme could carry credits, but not this year.
Absolutely, yes. So the credit, yeah, as Alex said, the credits option is something that we're working on because every university is different and credits are all used in different ways. Every country will have a particular credit framework to make sure that their degrees are valid and that they're robust. And that's something we want to try and improve going forward. So this year it's a voluntary scheme. It will look great on your CV, and as I said, it does come with a reference and a certificate, so you can use it. And we hope this will be really desirable to different employers, and the skills that you learn will be really useful for you going forward. And as you can see on the slide there, connects you with the student community, offers you an opportunity to communicate with other people, and develops those really key employability skills in terms of networking and working with other people in different countries, and really improving your cultural awareness and competencies. So yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity, even though it's not credit weighted.
Thanks, Callum. I think that's all the questions that are live on the chat at the moment, but let's just hold on a minute in case anybody's typing away.
Absolutely, yeah. And as we say, there are we might just want to put that final slide up to show you how to get in contact with us, as I think if there's no other questions we might be drawing to an end. But yeah, just to really emphasize that we are here to answer your questions, but just remember that they have to be in by midday on the 13th of November, so you've got enough time to fill in your application and get it into us, because we've got a tight turnaround to make sure everyone gets announced as a champion and you can get started with the work as soon as possible. So there's the email there, aurora.champions@uea.ac.uk. Make a note of that. The presentation slides will be available after on the website, and it will all be linked on the website. So if you need to go and download your application form off the website, you'll be able to find the email address there. Any questions, do just let us know. We're here to help you, and it's the first year of this amazing opportunity, so we're all learning and on this journey together. So no question is a silly question. Are there any other questions at all, Alex, or is that it?
I think we're there for now. Thank you so much for introducing the scheme, Callum. As you say, we're very excited about taking this forward for Aurora. And thanks to all our students who have joined us today, or those who are listening to this recorded. We look forward to receiving applications, don't we, Callum?
We do, yeah. So thank you so much for coming along and listening. And as we say, any questions, get in contact. If not, we look forward to reading your application. So we'll see you very soon. Thank you very much, everybody.